we are, a lot of talk about is agroforestry nowadays, because of many reasons. Because monocrop like paddy or wheat systems or cotton-based system, any crop-based systems, they're all not very much sustainable in the long run. You see the chili cultivation or cotton cultivation, any crop, they are using many chemical fertilizers, uh, uh, the pesticides, lot of pesticides, 10 to 15 times more than what is recommended. The agriculture systems are mostly exposed to climate change and all other things. And monocropping, again, for example, paddy or even cotton, yearly once you will get the returns. And we are not able to utilize all the soil, agroecology in a holistic way or in an integrated way. But in agroforestry systems, we can side along with the crops, we can grow forestry type of things. We can grow some other horticultural type of tree. All trees or comes under trees along with the crops comes under agroforestry. Once you are having trees plus crops, then you can automatically grow or like livestock, sheep, goat, fisheries, and also you can use some other shading type of thing. Under shade, so many other crop systems, cropping patterns will be grow. So this is what why this is why we have to prefer this agroforestry, enrich our lives with trees that work. And generally we are habitual to forestry is a different thing, and agriculture is different thing, crops are different. It is not like that. Now government of India is also encouraging in the same plot, if we are having 2 acre or 3 acres or 5 acre of plot, side by side we can grow crops, we can grow fodder crops, which are maybe some shrubs or some trees, or we can grow some horticulture crops like apples, pineapple, or cashew nuts, or coffee plantations with different altitude, different height levels, so that we can use different multi-story type of crops will be grown in the same plot. And the root system also, for example, crops root system will grow up to will deep up to not beyond 1 meter, but trees root system go below 3-4 meters depth. So not only the just below the soil, we can use the soil moisture. Even deeper layer soil moisture can also utilize it for the integrated development of crops, forestry, horticulture. Along with all these things, we can also grow livestock, goat, sheep, and also cattle, uh, so that we can use all the ecosystem for the benefit of the farmers to increase the livelihoods, they increase the employment across the seasons, whole year, every day, and also increase overall returns and to get continuous income to the farmers. For example, if we are having the crops along with the trees with livestock, a farmer will get continuous flow of income, maybe from the vegetables, maybe from the fruit crops, maybe from the horticulture crop, maybe from the trees, maybe from the livestock. So that is the system we want to develop. So in this perspective, I just want to go what is agroforestry basically, and what are the benefits of agroforestry, and uh, where can we can get some more information about the agroforestry. I'm sorry because I'm working. I am on the way. I'm traveling, so I just sat in coffee day and I'm giving this presentation. This is basically, you see, this is what is agroforestry. The crops, along with the crops, trees, and how to mix these crops and trees together. There are some different types of systems like silvi-pasture system, agroforestry system, agri-horti system, agri-horti and livestock system, agri-horti, livestock and fisheries. Different types of systems we can develop. But this is the basic idea is crops. Along with the crops, you can introduce some forest species or tree species. Basically, tree species includes horticulture, plantations like coffee plantations or tea plantations or cashew nuts, areca nut, all these type of things we can mix, and also some fodder crops, barsim or grain legumes, uh, and windbreaks. All these type of things we can mix for the maximizing the ecological productivity. We cannot call it as a profitability. Agroecological productivity of a piece of land. How we can increase a piece of productivity of a piece of land? Use multiple species, crop species and tree species together to grow, so that farmers will get continuous flow of income, and also farmers will get continuous flow of employment for the not only the male households, it also generate the employment for females, women employment, and also value addition. We can use a lot of like the medicinal plants, the specialized crops like coffee plantations or cashew, or so that the value in the value addition process, even not only the women in the households, but you can also generate employment in the food processing industry by setting up preliminary processing units to process it, and also up to branding and to the consumers. So lot of forestry products are having a lot of demand now, like it is a medicinal uses are there. The even biofertilizers, you can also produce biofertilizers. You can also produce biofuels and sell it in the market, and with the farmer producer organizations and all these things, like sorghum. If you want to grow sorghum as a forestry, because we all know normally we see the sorghum plant 2 meters, not more than 2 meters height. But there are some sorghum varieties which grow 5 meters height. Those can be used for biofuel production, and with a mass scale, like for example 100 farmers together, they are coming and they are growing this sorghum as a biofuel. They can start their own farmer producer organization. They can set up their own processing unit, so that you can generate ethanol biofuel from this sorghum, and you can sell to the local the processing unit or petrol pumps, etc., with lot of profit. So this is again, what is agroforestry? It's an intentional combination of agriculture, working trees to create sustainable farming and also ranching systems. For example, here we are having 2-3 different types I've shown here. One is silvi-pasture. Silvi means trees. Trees plus pasture means grass. So trees plus grass. So that means trees along with the grassland, along with, if trees and grass is there, then we can grow the cattle. And windbreaks are especially very much useful when you are in the coastal zone, to protect your crops, to protect your fields from huge wind speed, so that your crops will not be harmed by this hailstorm type of activities. And riparian buffer, for example, you are having some water bodies like with village tanks or village canal system or village river systems. And during on the edges of this river, on the boundaries of this river, we can grow some tree species. These tree species will strengthen the bonds, river banks, so that there will not be any erosion on these bonds. On the soils will be strengthened, and they will be used for multiple purposes. And also LA cropping. LA cropping means crops side by side, some tree plantations. And forest farming. Forest farming is also coming. Forests are different types of forests are there basically. One is reserved forest. We don't have any access. Most of them, as a citizens, we don't have much access to the reserve forest. But joint forest systems are there. Joint forest means it's a community land. Under the community land, the local communities, along with the forest department, can manage, can plant, or can can grow some tree species which are useful for the local community, like timber, like non-timber also, tamarind, or some other tree species, cashew nut, or areca nut, or coffee plantations. All these plantations can be grown on a common land of a village or community, jointly along with the government of India or state government, and without harming the biodiversity, local biodiversity, we can harvest some of the the grains or the output of these forests. So it's a managed forest for the continuous forest rejuvenation, as well as reaping some benefits out of these forests. So that is called forest farming. Most of the hilly areas or tribal areas, some remote places where there is a natural forest, adjacent to the natural forest, there are some farming communities like scheduled tribe population is there. Those people, generally, they don't have the individual land rights. They don't have their own lands, but they may take they use these joint community forest lands, and they can manage this community forest land with the help of forest officer. They can grow these cashew plantations or areca nut plantations or coffee plantations, and they can harvest without harming the natural vegetation. They can harvest year after year some of the like cashew beans or coffee beans in the local market, and they can get profit. They can share the profit. They can work in those community forest lands, and they can get some employment, wages, and they can share the output of this local forest system, even though land is not belong to the local that individual farmers. So this, if you are interested in why you have to grow this agroforest, it is not a very pure monocrop like paddy system or something like that. It is a clean. We nowadays we are preferring clean water, clean air, clean land, without pesticides, without a lot of chemical fertilizer use. We are all seeing the bad effects of this excessive use of chemical fertilizers, excessive use of pesticides. So it is one way to cultivate in a clean manner, with less chemical fertilizers, with less pesticide use, using the land, the water, the agroecology, agro-biodiversity in the local community in a very integrated manner without contamination of these chemical fertilizers and pesticides. We can grow, rejuvenate, integrate the local agro ecosystem to grow the agroforestry for the benefit of the local community. So that is the whole purpose here. Safe and healthy food. And now you can, by if you grow this type of agroforestry in the local areas in a large scales, for example, if 100 farmers coming together and they are growing this agroforestry, then they can then they can certify this. For example, if 100 hectare of land is there, and all these tribal community or local community, they are growing this 100 hectares. It is a community land, and you are not using any chemical fertilizers. You are not using any pesticides. You are growing all the naturally, all the local species of trees, of grass, of fodder, of local crops, indigenous crops, etc., without using pesticides and without using fertilizers. And you can certify this. There are now international certifying agencies, international certification agencies, which can certify this particular land of 100 hectares or 1,000 acres or something like that. They certify that this is chemical free, this is pesticide free. So this produce can be sold at higher premium to international markets, because in the international markets like European Union or America or Canada, there is a huge demand for this naturally grown farm harvest, agroforestry products. A huge demand is there. If consumers in India, they are giving 100 rupees for your product, then these international branded community, they can buy at least 1,000 rupees. So there is a 10 times profit in international markets. So this, one thing is that you have to form a community, you have to certify it, you sell, you use this, the natural methods without chemical fertilizer, without pesticides. If you grow these things and if you sell it in a branded and packaged product in international markets, your returns will be 10 times more than the local community returns. So that is but it's a big challenge. How you can make it possible? That is a big question. The abundant wildlife, if you grow the crops along with the trees, plantations or grass or fodder, this land will support lot of cattle, lot of cows, lot of buffaloes. Side by side, you can also produce lot of milk products, milk and milk related products, and also kitchen, means chicken and all these things you can do, birds, etc. And beautiful places. You see the monocrop of cotton, monocrop of paddy. Anything is not, very beautiful when compared to the agroforestry. Some trees, along with the trees, some grass, along with the grass, some crops. This type of things looks very beautiful. That this beautiful agroforestry type of thing can be promoted as spots for hot spots for agro-tourism, especially if you nearby Chennai, if you develop some 100 hectares or 100 acres of agroforestry, that will be a hot spot for all this agro-tourism on the weekend. So this type of things are very much clean, renewable energy. Also, you can grow from the biogas, the cattle biomass, biogas, the cow dung. From this cow dung, you can also produce energy and you can reuse, recycle these, the cow dung and all these things. Sustainable family farms and ranches. This is also not only for farmer producer organizations, it can be possible if a large farmer is having 300 acres, means 30 acres or 40 acres with different, undulating lands, they can also, a single farmer can also grow this type of agroforestries, which are more beautiful. You can encourage agrotourism. You can resort of thing, weekend parties. This type of things are very much demanded now in this. So why agroforestry? Produce saleable products. Saleable products. What are the saleable products? Like the cashew nut, coffee plantations, or even neem. What are the now in India most useful species? Generally, we are seeing neem. Neem is having multiple benefits that can be used as a medicinal plant, insect repellent. Instead of chemical fertilizers, farmers can use neem as a insect repellent. And high quality timber. Neem can also be used as high quality timber, and also it can be used as a shade crop, shade tree, and also it can be used as windbreak. And this is so multiple benefits. Again, if you take that take we are seeing everywhere. Nowadays, farmers are growing in their own farms. Earlier, there is some confusion that if you grow the trees like teak and etc., they are not, they cannot be cut without the permission of the government. Now that problem is not there. If you grow the teak in your own farm, your own land, whenever it is possible, you can cut it. You can cut and sell it in the market. That restriction is not there in the now. So these teak plants, there a lot of wood. One teak plant is equivalent to even 1 lakh rupees, more than that. That is the demand for each teak plant. Like eucalyptus also, you can they are very much useful, and they are used for timber purpose, pulp wood purpose, and they can also use it for essential oil production. And poplar, again, it's a high quality wood. Poplar, you must be seeing this poplar very crop, commonly used for timber, plywood, paper production. A lot of uses are there. And bamboo plantations also you can grow. Construction, furniture, handicrafts, bamboo is having a lot of value. And Indian gooseberry, amla, amla, that is also very much a agroforestry type of thing. So lot of species are there you can use. A lot of products you can use, like drumstick, moringa, we can sell. We can take moringa, it's a medicinal value. Again, ficus. And there are a lot of banyan trees also they can use. Tamarind trees also you can use, and peepal trees. All these are having multiple uses in the local community. This provides value-added opportunities, like neem. As I mentioned, neem is having a lot of value-added products. Neem powder you can prepare, neem oil you can prepare. What is that? Medicine, neem-based medicines, neem-based insect repellent you can use. You can make a lot of value-added products. You can, for example, cashew also agroforestry type of product. Cashew nuts you can make and you can sell international markets. Coffee plantations can grow, and coffee beans you can sell in international market. Diversifies risk. You can diversify your risk along with the crops. If you are growing these these tree plantations, you can diversify your risk, increase property value. Again, these are all horticultural crops are having long duration, crops, means they can be grown in a they can be grown 10 years, 20 years, like that. So if your plot is having so many tech plantations, 1 acre instead of 20 lakhs, it will be its market value will be 1 crore if you are having all the tech plantations, mature tech plantations. So that value of your land will also be increased. Increase crop yields and livestock production. Again, these trees, especially leaf from the trees, leaves will fall on the soil, and this will enrich the soil fertility, soil organic matter content, soil moisture holding content. It will also give shade. Under the shade, especially the tropical environment in the summers, the soil moisture will be much higher when compared to the open lands. Under the trees, soil moisture will be much higher, soil organic pattern will be much higher, soil health will be much higher. If all these things are there, soil microbes will be higher, earthworms will be higher, and soil productivity will be much higher. And again, if you are having trees, means you can have that grass, you can have the leaves, you can use the leaves for this cattle feed, goat and sheep, and goat and sheep needs goat, not only goat and sheep, cattle, buffalo, all these require essentially the trees to grow in a healthy environment, to create a healthy environment. These trees will give shade to the area, shade effect. Under the shade, temperatures will be about 2 to 3 degrees centigrade less than the open air. When the temperature is less than 2 to 3 degrees centigrade, definitely your health of the cattle, health of the goat and sheep will be much higher when compared to the open air. So most of the cattle, sheep rearing, livestock rearing farmers, they are essential. These agroforestry, timber tree plantations are very, very essential for the healthy growth of the livestock. May be eligible for carbon credit and ecosystem services. Carbon credit, because the trees will, tree trunk, you see tree trunks, it is nothing but it's a carbon fixation. Tree trunks, what trees are doing? Trees are absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. They are fixing this carbon dioxide in the tree trunks, in the roots, below the earth, in the roots, and also in the trunks. Generally, we can't observe, but how much is the trunk length? That much is the deep of the root system. Below the soil, also, that much root system is there, that much carbon fixation is there in the whole system. So this agro is a combination of forestry and agriculture. Agroforestry is nothing but a combination of forestry and crop system. So putting the right plant in the right place for the right purpose is very, very important. You have to choose it. Early cropping is nothing but crops along with some trees, early cropping. Silvipasture means trees plus the pasture means grass. Pasture, it will support the livestock, cattle mostly. And forest farming is in the hilly areas, in the northeast areas, in the community lands. If there is a natural forest, then the farming community together comes and enrich this forest. For example, the forest is not thick forest. Already there is a logging and all these trees are now in a very bad shape, very old, or there is no rejuvenation. Then the local community should come together, then rejuvenate, replant these, regenerate these local forests. This is called forest farming. And then again, riparian buffer means along the canals, along the riverbeds, if you grow some sort of trees, some that will strengthen the riverbed, that will strengthen the riverbed against the soil erosion. And it will also a buffer for reducing the flooding in the nearby areas. And it will support cattle, as again, will support some local communities. They can harvest the fruits and the nuts, the leaves, whatever the products on this, riparian buffer. And for when to use windbreaks, all the land is not suitable for windbreak, and the nearby coastal belt, the windbreaks are very essential. Like along the coast, you can grow some, along this high wind speed, you can grow some windbreaks with tall trees and with 2-3 lines, not one single line, 2-3 lines. It will act as a windbreak and will support crop, and special applications. So planting of single or multiple rows, you see these multiple rows of trees or shrubs that redirect or modify the wind and are established for one or more environmental purposes. Along the coast, this type of windbreaks will be used for multiple purposes. What are the purposes? Reduce erosion and pesticide drift, protect plants, crops, vegetables, fruits, improve irrigation use. Improve irrigation use means, why irrigation? Means if there is a windbreak, then the evaporation losses will be reduced. And increase crop yields, shelter livestock. It will be acted as shelter for livestock, cattle, goat, sheep, or calves. Mitigate odors and dust, provide wildlife habitation, make it beautiful plantations, enhance aesthetics and carbon sequestration, carbon fixation. All these purposes windbreaks will be used. Again, alley cropping. Alley cropping means side-by-side crops, 2-3 rows of crops, growing an annual or perennial crop simultaneously in the alley ways between rows of a long-term tree crop. Long-term tree crop is growing like mangoes are there. Between the mango trees, our crops are grown. That is called alley cropping. The agricultural crop generates annual income. Agricultural crop will generate annual income, while long-term crops will get returns when it matches. Like if you are having tea plantation, if you are having eucalyptus, they will give returns 2-3 years once, or tea plantation after 5 years or 10 years. But annual crop, every year you will get some sort of returns. And what is the benefits of alley cropping? So diversify farm enterprises. Farm, along with the crop, you will get along with the annual income, you will get lump sum income once in 5 years, once in 10 years. Reduce erosion. Erosion losses will not be there. Improve water quality. Protect crops. Shade, it will give shade. Some tree shade loving plantations or tree will be there. They will be useful. Improve utilization of nutrients. Enhance wildlife, improve aesthetics, and store carbon. Carbon is always very much Again, silvopasture, as I mentioned, you see the photo, silvo means trees, pasture means grass. Both these will be silvi, trees will give shade to the livestock, shade to the cattle, while grass will give fodder to the animals. Combines timber, livestock, and forage for production in the same acreage, same area. Trees provide long-term returns, while livestock generates annual income to the farmers. And what is the benefits of silvopasture? Benefits: improve plant vigor, lower animal stress, because when you are having shade of the trees, the heat stress of the livestock will not be there. Reduce wildfire risk, improve wildlife habitation, wildlife will be there. Annual income will be there from grazing, livestock, fodder, long-term income from timber. So forest farming, intentional manipulation, integration, and intensive management of woodlands, wood crops under a managed forest canopy to produce non-timber products. There are not only timber, non-timber like cashew nut, areca nut, coffee, different type of products, even honeybee, different types of products we can produce from this forest farming. Forest farming, why? Forest is cultivated like farming to produce some sort of output that can be sold in the market. Improve economic value of existing forests, diversify income, increase cash flow. These are all the benefits from that forest farming benefits. Forest farming products, what are medicinal plants, as I mentioned, handicrafts. For example, bamboo. If you grow bamboo, you can do some handicrafts also, decorative purposes also, food products also. A lot of things you can grow from this forest farming. So this is what foods, medicines, and decorative purposes this forest produce can be used. Chestnut, syrups, mushrooms, ginseng, some medicinal values, and a lot of decorative values also there. So riparian forest buffers. Riparian forest buffer means, see the riparians. So in between this is the water flow. On the edges of the water flow, you go some plantations, some tree type of thing. So along this river, along the river, there is on the river beds, you grow some trees. Riparian forest buffers are natural or planted woodlands adjacent to the water bodies. They are designed with trees, shrubs, or grasses to protect water resources from non-point source pollution. So what are the benefits? Clean water will not be polluted, protect aquatic habitat, protect and enhance wildlife habitat, protect stream banks, income source, timber and specialty products, flood protection. All these things can be. Again, like energy crops, what is that? I already mentioned sorghum. You can see energy crops nowadays, paddy straw. That is also used as an energy crop. Wheat straw, that can be used as an energy crop. Even red gum stems, they can also be used as a forest energy crop. So reduce on-farm energy costs, energy can be used, reduce reliance on fossil fuels, and income source, improve soil health also. So agroforestry on the farm or ranch. So how this shows very picturesquely how it is shown. LA crops from left, LA crops means 2-3 rows of trees along with the crops, and forest farming, it's just forest, rejuvenated or afforestation, forest and only forest, and windbreaks, cropland, just on the borders, there are some windbreaks, and silvipasture, as I mentioned, trees along with the grassland, riparian forest. Riparian forest is nothing but on the river beds, along with the river, you grow some forest. Bioenergy buffer, bioenergy like sorghum, like some other bioenergy crops you can grow. Sugarcane also bioenergy crop nowadays. They can also produce energy. Short rotation woody crops, silvipasture. So all these type of different agroforestry systems is shown here. You can adopt according to the local situation, local conditions. You can adopt one or a combination of these two things, 2 to 3 things, depending on the suitability, depending on the species, depending on the agroecological situation, local agroecological situation, availability. Many times what will happen, what we are recommending, that is not locally suitable. So one simple thing is that in your nearest forest, what type of crops are there, what type of tree plantations are there. It is in general, those tree plants are more suitable for your local condition. You ask your forest officer what are the locally suitable tree species in the local forest. Those same tree plantations you can plant in the local your own lands. They are much more productive in your own lands, because the agroecology of those local forests are more or less similar to that of your own land. So agroforestry means ultimately this is clean water and air, safe and healthy foods, abundant livestock, beautiful places, clean renewable energy, sustainable farming. So I think I will sum up what are the benefits of this agroforestry. Agroforestry, you cannot take it as a very different type of thing. It's an integrated response to the current problems. Current problem of high pollution, current problem of excessive use of pesticides and fertilizers, current problem of monoculture, current problem of monoculture of cotton, monoculture of paddy, something like that. What will be the source? So what is the increase food production? How we can increase food production from your own 3-acre, 4-acre or 5-acre land? If that is the objective, agroforestry is one of the option. The modern people, what they are using is, you see here, high yielding modern crop varieties, high input systems. High input system is high fertilizer, pesticides use. Instead of that, you can go for agroforestry, multiple species, trees, crops, fodder, livestock type of integrated systems you can see. So enhancing nutrition of families is very important. Food is important. How you can enhance nutrition? You can grow diversified food crops like livestock, trees, crops, different species. More diverse food and agri systems means more nutrition always. Always more diversified crops in your farm means, or more diversified food in your plate is, or your dinner or lunch. More diversified food means more nutritious food. So if you grow in your plot more crops, more diversified crops, then at least some of these produce you can consume within your own family. Your nutrition will be increasing. Instead of what modern methods are, genetically enhancing commodity, the bio-fortified crops, which are not generally very costly, not suitable for local community. Instead, you can grow agroforestry. Biofuels, as I mentioned, sorghum, mixed biofuel crops into farming system, again, monoculture of biofuel crops. Markets for agriculture produce, you can grow novel crops, neglected underutilized species like sitafal, local fruits, local vegetables, local agroforestry products, which are high demand in local markets. You can grow high quality crops like specialty coffee, cocoa, cashew nut. These are all giving lot of high value to per acre. You can earn some lakhs if you grow this type of coffee, cocoa, or some other agroforestry products. Huh? Clean forest and biodiversity conservation landscape approach. So adaptation to climate change. There is a climate change, the increased temperature, agriculture for resilience and risk mitigation. So resilience and risk mitigation can happen with agroforestry. Why? It will give shade to the crops. Shade. Under the shade, most of the crops, most of the livestock will grow very well especially during the summers. Using intra-specific diversity of crop, different, if you are having some mango plantations, you can grow some crops. Better land management in watershed and riparian zones. Definitely riparian, as I mentioned, agroforestry is very much important. Climate change mitigation, carbon storage. So what trees are doing? Trees are absorbing carbon dioxide, carbon from the atmosphere, and they are storing in the trunk. That's why each year trunk size will be increasing. Why the trunk size will be increasing? Because it is absorbing more and more carbon dioxide each year. That is, as the trunk size is increasing, means it is absorbing, fixing more carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. As we are seeing on the ground, below ground is also the similarly root zone, root volume also increasing year after year. Actions required address complex integrated systems, technological teach innovation systems, integrated systems, complex systems. These are all very complex. There is an interrelationship, there is interlinkages, codependence or synergies between crops, trees, and livestock. These synergies we have to understand. Which shade crops are suitable for local area, which crops are suitable under the trees, which livestock is more suitable for local environment, which local cattle prefer which type of tree species, which type of crops, which type of grass fodder. All these things we have to understand in an integrated way. The life cycle approach, integrated approach we have to follow. Innovation systems approach, participatory problem solving and learning. We have to adopt new species, new crops, and you test which type of crops are, which type of trees, which type of livestock is more suitable for your local environment. Dealing with both depth and width of the problem, drivers of global change, discuss trade-offs, feedback.
Hello.
I think I will stop here.
Yes, please. Yeah, we have just 10 minutes to go.
This is whether you want to go for integrated solutions or aggregated solutions. Integrated solutions is nothing but agroforestry. Thank you very much for your kind.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank
Here
you,
Dr.
Amarender. Yeah, sure. Thank you, sir, for a detailed presentation. Now I'll take up some questions. So first question is, what are the best tree crop combinations for agroforestry considering local climatic and soil conditions?
So it is all depends on the local situation, as you are mentioning. Some generally what we are preferring, for example, neem, teak, bamboo, people, banyan, or amla. Even you can go cashew nut, coffee, cocoa, depending on the local situation. And you have to see, you have to contact your local horticulture officers. He is the better person, because local agroecology is different for different environments. It will vary within the district also. It will vary. It depends on the soil. What is the depth of the soil? Whether the soil depth is very deep, 2 to 3 meters, or only 1 meter depth. Which type of soil it is? Red soil or clomy or loamy soil or sandy soil, whether the water availability conditions, all these things you have to consider before selecting your variety. Mostly, the one guiding principle is, if in your adjacent villages is the natural forest is there, under those natural forests, which type of tree species are naturally grown, those tree species are more suitable for your own local conditions. So instead of native species, native varieties, you can ask your horticulture officer, your forest department. They will give you improved varieties, but the same local species, local trees, but improved varieties they will give to you. So that that will give, they will grow fast. That is number one characteristic. Grow fast. It has to grow fast. It will resist. It will be resistance to droughts, especially, or even floods. It will grow in any. Again, one of the main important thing is that establishing the nurseries. What are the plantations? What are the trees available with the local nurseries? Those species you can purchase. And establishing nursery, the mortality rate is many times it is higher. Mortality rate. So, for example, if you grow 10 plants, if you start growing 10 plants, out of 10, only 2-3 will be surviving after 5 years. So the mortality rate, especially in the beginning of the years, is very hard. You have to very carefully manage these local nurseries or plantations first 2 to 3 years. Then after 5 years of survival, it is not a big problem. So first 2-3 years is very difficult. They are very sensitive. You have to take good management. You have to practice best management practices. Ensure moisture. Ensure good moisture. Ensure there is no flooding. There is no drought. If there is a drought, then you have to give some some water, some irrigation facilities. These type of things are very much important.
Okay. Next question is, how can I manage the competition for nutrients, water, and sunlight between the trees and crops in an agroforestry system?
So yeah, yes, it's very important. Basically, during the first 2 to 3 years of agroforestry, there may not be much competition. There may not, these tree plants also very much small. They will not give any much shading in the initial 2 to 3 years. So initial first year, you can maintain you are growing the trees along with the main crop like, for example, cotton or something. First 1 year, there may not be much problem. As your first year, you can grow full density of the cotton plantations. There will not be any problem. From second, third year onwards, you have to slowly reduce this, number of plants of the main crop, like, cotton or soya bean or chickpea, whatever the main crop is there. That main crop in the shaded area, you should not sow in the shaded area. Shaded area, you have to leave it for trees growth. Third year onwards, you have to exclusively keep it this shaded area without any plantation. At most, you can grow some grass that which are shade loving plantations. That is enough. But in first 1 or 2 years, it will not be any problem until the the tree crops reaches some height, until it gives a lot of shade in the nearby areas. So it depends on the local situation ultimately. the spacing and all these things. You have to gradually reduce the crops density over the years. Hello.
Yeah, sorry, sir.
You are muted. Okay.
Issue. Next question is, how does agroforestry contribute to biodiversity conservation and carbon sequestration?
So in the agroforestry, it is nothing but growing multiple tree species, multiple crop species, along with fodder crops, along with the livestock. So it will provide an ecosystem of agro biodiversity. It will give you a natural ecosystem. Under this natural ecosystem, many tree species, many other species also will be growing because of the some shade, some non-shade, all these type of things. And both, within the soil also, soil microbial activity also rejuvenated, soil microbial activity, because with the tree plantations, lot of the shading, there's a lot of organic accumulation of organic matter in the top layers of the soil, because of the leaves fall and they will be recycled into organic matter. This organic matter will enrich earthworms and other biodiversity, and it will also stimulate, accelerate other microbial activities in the soil. So overall, the microbial activity, biological activity, we don't know what, so many different species will be there in the soil. All these species will get their food, their nutrition, they'll rejuvenate their activity, they enrich the soil. Once they enrich the soil, then this soil will enrich the crops and as well as the trees and also the livestock. So it's a cumulative process. This activity will synergistically help each other. Crops will help trees, trees will help crops, and trees will help the soil. Soil will help the crop again, and crop and fodder will help the livestock. And livestock again will enrich the soil through the cow dung and all these things. And all this simultaneously helps the human beings, by providing the food, by providing the biodiversity, by providing the nutrition, by providing the milk, etc. So this accumulation will all help biodiversity and also carbon sequestration, because as I mentioned, trees, basically trees trunk is a big source of carbon accumulation. It absorbs the atmospheric carbon dioxide, convert into that organic matter, fix in the trunks. That's why trunk size every year, the diameter, perimeter of this, this trunk will increase year after year. As trunk size increases, the root size also increases underneath the soil. These are all the biological carbon sequestration. For example, if we follow this, if we measure this carbon sequestration in 1 acre of land, and there are some studies, they have measured how much carbon is fixed in 1 year. That is equivalent to about 10,000 rupees per acre. 10,000 rupees per acre carbon is fixed into the soil, and this carbon can be tradable. Nowadays, even some states are encouraging carbon trade. if you certify this particular 1 acre of land through this carbon registration, so you can easily gain this 10,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees per year in terms of carbon trade. So this carbon trade, carbon fixation is not only useful for individual farmer, it is also useful for the country to reduce the global warming. Across the world, it is useful. If you fix 10,000 rupees worth of carbon in your soil, that is not directly useful for the farmer. That's why government is paying, because you are contributing to the society through carbon fixation. You are contributing to reduce the global warming across the world. That's why government is giving for you in return to the carbon fixation, in return to that growing of trees, 10,000 rupees worth to you, because you are fixing carbon, 10,000 rupees worth of carbon in your own soil. That is useful to reduce the global warming. That system is there, that is coming.
Okay. And now I'll take up the last question. How does transition to agroforestry affect the livelihoods of local farming communities?
It depends on the situation to situation. For example, if you want to convert from cotton crop to agroforestry, immediately your money returns, profitability may be reducing little bit, but ultimately it is also contributing to your food and nutritional security in a multiple ways. You will, instead of single crop 1 year, but single crop cotton will give huge returns in a particular month. Throughout the year, you don't get any return. But in agroforestry, throughout the year, every month, you will get some sort of return. And if you accumulate all these returns from livestock, some forestry, agroforestry, crops, all these things, more or less returns will be same or little bit less. If little bit less, but what will happen if there is a crop loss? Entire cotton crop will be failed. If there is a less price, entire 20, 30, 40, 50% reduction in the profit will happen if the price is 50% less. But that huge loss will not occur to agroforestry. Agroforestry, you are having multiple crops, livestock is there, you are getting regular income. If one crop is failed, other crop will act as an insurance. If other crop is failed, the main crop is acting as an insurance. If these two crops are failed, your livestock is there, it will give regular income. But if you transition from paddy to the agroforestry, probably your paddy is more secure crop, more food secure crop, and there is a food security point of view, there is a loss to the farm. Thing is that agroforestry cannot be promoted everywhere. No, you cannot be promoting. Every farmer cannot be transformed into agroforestry. That is very, very important. A 10% of the land or a 20% of the land, if you are having, a farmer is having 10 acre, keep 1 acre as agroforestry. Keep 1 acre. Only 10% of your land can be kept as agroforestry. That will be used for your own household domestic consumption. If some surplus is there, you can sell. You can keep your main cotton crop, you can keep your main paddy crop, no problem, in 9 acres. But 1 acre, you keep it for agroforestry. You grow cattle, you grow fodder, you grow trees. That will be very much a supplemental income, a enrichment income, a very beautiful place to stay in your own farm. It depends on the local situation, but a blanket adoption of agroforestry, we are not recommending. 10% of land, 20% of land, you can convert. But in tribal areas, you can, if you are having 2-3 acres, you can convert entirely. It depends on the local situation.
Okay, sir. Since we are running short of time, I could take only so many questions. So now we have come to end of question round. On behalf of agricultureinformation.com, I like to thank you for a detailed presentation and answering all the questions in depth. And we also like to thank all the participants for joining this meeting. The meeting will now be closed. Have a good and safe weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.